Hello, my name is Kat. Welcome to my channel. Hello, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. So today's video is kind of like an experiment. A lot of people has been posting like a series that they will not read, series that they will continue, where they are on the series and all of that. And I thought it's like a good idea to make that kind of video. I like those kind of videos. I've been doing those kind of videos myself in some kind of way, because I have my old crate and I have my book of the month and my audio library and all of that. So I like to kind of track what I'm reading and talk about it. So the idea is I'm gonna record the screen and I will show you the series that I have and try to go with you together to tell you if I'm going to continue this series, if I like it, if I read only one book, if I read more of the books and all of that. Rabbit is annoying me here. Okay, so let's try to do this. So whatever I'm recording, I'm going to put it on the other side, and we'll see. So let's see if it's recording. I think it is recording. So the first book that I have here is The Dating Plan. I didn't know it was a series. Seems like it's a series that you don't really need to read the first or the second book ahead. So that one, it was the Marriage Game series. Wait, let's see if I can do this. And I'm not gonna continue. I didn't like it too much. So the next one is Morbid Taste of Bones. This one is a mystery series. It has a lot of them. It's kind of like from the 60s or 70s, maybe, if I'm not wrong. And it's about this priest that is solving crimes. I did like it. It's not like I dislike it, but I'm not that into his stories, and it has too many of them, so I will not continue. It was nice to try it, and I read it for a book club like a couple years ago, I think. So I'm not going to continue with this one, but I don't think it's bad. It's fine. It's a nice mystery, a little different too. So let's see if I can move this one, and it's the Gadelf. I can say his name. Chronicles. So the next book I have is Finlay Donovan is Killing It. That one I didn't like it. I didn't like the style of her writing. I didn't like how she described the smells. That was like a thing that I think it's still on my brain, that I didn't like it. It's a very popular series. I think she already has 2 more on the series. I will not continue. So this one is no. So that one is moving to here. So the next one I have is Divine Rivals. This one I just read it not long ago. I didn't know it was a series. It kind of makes sense because the ending was like, we should have more. It should be that's it. So it is an interesting story. It's a little bit on the younger target audience. I was fine. I was not very interested on the magical elements because they never get explained. I don't think they were going to go too deep on that aspect either. It's not bad book, but I'm not so interested on the series, so I will not continue. I will move it to here. That's the Letters of Enchantment series. The next one I have is wait, something there. Okay, the next one I have is a spin The Dawn. This one I think is a dual series. A dual? No, what I'm saying. Yeah, it's only 2 books, I think. I read the first one long ago. It's supposed to be kind of like a Mulan story, I think, that she's trying to working in a castle, like doing some dresses, and she get in contact with some people that works for the king, and it has that vibes like a Mulan story. I didn't like it much. It was okay. It was not the worst. It was not the best. It was okay for me. So I'm not going to continue with this series. So let's move this one to, what is a spin, the burning, I think it's the Blood Stars, the name of the series. Maybe no, maybe I think it's that one. No, I think it's the Blood Stars, covering the little bit the letters. It's okay. So the next one is the Rage of Dragons. This one, it was a fun thing to read. Not because I like it. I didn't like the main character. He is the worst main character I ever find. I don't like him at all. What I did like about this thing is because a lot of people was reading this book, and they make on the Word Hopper's channel a conversation about it, and it was so fun to listen the conversation, how some people like it and how some people dislike it. I'm in the side that I didn't like the series, so this one is not for me. I will not continue. I will put it right there. It's the Burning series, I think. So the next one is Philippa Gregory, The Last Tudor. From this author, I read 2 books, and it was on a series that I didn't know it was a series, and I read it in a complete not order at all. This one was published after the White Princess, so probably that's the reason I did like better Philippa, The Last Tudor, than the White Princess. But it's a style of a story that I'm not interested in anymore, so I'm not gonna continue with this one. And Repito wants a little more attention. There we go. So those are not. I'm going to keep going with this one. Let's move on to the second page. One thing I have to say, I'm not really good DNF in books, but I'm really good DNF in a series. If I don't like the first book, it's very, very hard for me that I'm gonna keep going on the next ones. So if I didn't like the first one, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna continue. If I like the first one, it's 100% sure I will keep going with the books. This one is going to be a little controversial because a lot of people like this Red Rising. It wasn't for me. I don't know what it was about the story that I couldn't connect with the characters, and I didn't like any character at all. Like, I don't know, everybody's saying that the second book gets better and the third one is better and better. I still like thinking that maybe in a long future I will give it a try again, but so far this is a DNF series. I didn't connect with the story. It's not for me. The next one is the Sanatorium. Sarah Pierce. I didn't know it was a series. It's like a mystery series, so she's gonna resolve another cases in a different place. I think they have 2 books, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong on that. It was fine. It was an interesting mystery. It's very atmospheric. She writes a really atmospheric stories. I don't know if the story works too much for me, but I give it a point on the atmospheric element on the story. But I don't think I will continue. It's not like I like it so much, her style, that I'm really interested to keep going reading. It may happen, maybe, but for now it is a DNF series. So this one, I think, if I'm mistaken, is the Detective Alien series. The next one is Fate of the Fallen. This one we read it for the same book club that I read the priest detective mystery thing, and I didn't like it either. It's like the guy that he's a chosen one and he needs to find a revenge for his family too, if I'm not mistaken. It was not too much for me. I kind of get bored. It's very slow pace. Not too many things happen. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not really slow. It's maybe I didn't really connect with the characters. So this one is a series that I'm going to DNF. Oh, this one. I read it for the same book club. I didn't like it at all. It's a romance. and she falls in love with some kind of somebody in the royalty family. I don't remember too much about the story. I just didn't like the style, and this is a no continuous series, so it's a DNF. The next one is a foreign country. It's a thriller that is kind of like a mystery thriller thing. It's a detective that is trying to resolve a crime. I don't really remember very well about the story now that I'm looking at it. It was not a bad story, and I think I read it for the same book club. We were having such a bad luck on that book club that most of the books that they pick, most of us we didn't like it. So I think that's why they stop eventually. I kind of stopped following before they finish with the book club. But I don't remember going back to the book. I don't remember too much about this particular book. So that's another reason for me to just DNF. Is you see, it's more like a thriller spy situation there. So the next one is Black Sun. It's a very popular series. It's a fantasy set in a more like a South America, Central America area. It has a lot of elements from that culture. It was okay for me. I didn't like too much any of the characters, and I heard that the second book it kind of even go in a different direction. It doesn't even follow the main characters from the first book, and I didn't like too much the first version, so I don't think I will continue with this one. Um, that's between the Sea Sky series. Oh, that this one is a very controversial thing. Terry Pratchett is really famous writer. A lot of people love his Discord series, and it's a satiric writing style. I don't know. They said you should start with some, I think, guards, or I don't even remember the name. But I don't think his style of writing is for me. Yeah, this I'm not going to continue. Maybe in a long future, maybe I will give it a try with another book, but I didn't like too much this one. It was unseen academicals. It was they were having a soccer tournament between the priest that they work in there. I think, yeah, I didn't like his style. I don't think it is the type of writing that I like. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so these ones are some of them I finished. Bear and the Nightingale. I didn't like too much. I think I don't want to blame to the audio version, but I think the audio version didn't help too much to connect to the story. This one is I'm maybe going to try it in the future. This really has like a maybe half and half. Like probably I will continue, probably I will DNF. It's not something that is on my head all the time. It sounds very fantastical and has a lot of folklore from the East Europe area. That's why it sounds very interesting, and that's why I'm very hesitating if I should finish, continue, or just DNF the series. The next one is A Wrinkle of Time. That one is another popular series that I didn't know it was a series. I may pick up some of the books on this series. I'm not 100% sure. I'm still thinking about it. So that one is another situation, half and half. Either I will DNF complete the series because I will not even remember about it, or I may pick up another book on it. The next one is The Ninth Swim. This one, it was published like maybe 2-3 years ago, and now they came out with the second book on the series. So they're gonna use the same person that is doing the podcast for the book or for the story and make another book, so they're going to resolve some other crime in that book. This one I may pick up the book in the future. It does. They have it on the book of the month, and the reason I have this one, I read this one, is because of the book of the month. So maybe I will get this one. That's the same, 50-50. If I remember, or if I don't find anything to read, I don't know. If I remember, I may pick up the second book. The next three I finish. So all the boys I love before. Uh, I did read them maybe 5 years ago when the first movie came out. It is very nice story. I think it's not over the top on any aspects. I did like the series a lot. So the next one is his Dark Materials. This one I get through kind of half and half. I read them and I get it on audio. Um, it's about this fantastical world where the kids, they have their animal companions, and they can shift different forms until they get certain age, and then the animal stay in a form and this animal is so linked to the person. And they came out with a series about the like a TV show about the series. I did like it. I think I like the first and the second book more than the last one, because all those magical elements that I liked at the beginning, they kind of faded on the last book. So this one is a series that I complete. Good for me. Yeah. So the next one is the Padme trilogy. This one, I was very interested to read it. I think it's a young adult stories, and I think the first one and the last one are more engaging than the second book, and it tells what it says, like the life of Padme. That's a series that I kind of have a half and half. I like it, but not too much. Mixed feelings on them. So let's move on with. Okay, this one is Star Wars, and is the book version of the Star Wars number 3, and I did like it. It's just kind of like a refreshing or remember the story of the Star Wars, the movies that we have from the 1 to the 6 um, movies, like the 3 originals and the 3 prequels that they came out many years ago. So this one is The Shadow of Kyoshi. So they are Avatar novels, and what I realized is that they do 2 books for each Avatar. So Kyoshi has The Shadow of Kyoshi. I get it on my audio, and then she get the Rise of Kyoshi. I did it on my audio too, and then they came out with the Dawn of Yang Yanqing. I can say their names. And recently they just published the second part of this novel. So for each Avatar, they have 2 books. So now we're going to have the second part of the Town of the Yanyan. I'm not sure if it's pronounced. I really like the audiobooks. My brother is reading in on a physical and audiobook, and that's a thing that we're doing kind of together. And this is a series that I planning to continue. Okay, Malice. This for sure, The Faithful and the Fallen. I will continue. So far, I read Malice and Valor, and you probably hear it on my wrap-ups. I really like them. I didn't pick up the third book yet because I'm not reading too much lately, so I didn't want to start it because I want to have like all my concentration when I'm reading the third book. Highly recommended. The next one is Anne Green Gables. We read it for my book club. We read the first one, but for sure we're going to continue. Maybe not with the book club, maybe myself, or maybe with the book club. But they have 7 books total about Anne and her life, and it's a very very nice story, very calm story. Next one is J.T. Robb, Naked in the Dead. This is a series that has, I don't know, 40 something or maybe more It's about this detective. I don't remember her name. And I'm planning to continue. I may get it on a physical because the last time I did it like audio and ebook, and the audio didn't work for me. So the next one is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I already have all the books. This for sure I'm going to keep going with this series. I read this one and I love it, and I don't know why I didn't pick up the second one. Is That's another thing. I start a series. If I don't like it, it's easy. I DNF it. If I like it, I pick up the next books. But sometimes I take forever to pick up the next book in the series, like it's happening with the Shadow of the Wind. So this series I will continue. Let's move on to the next page. The Mysteries of Halloween. Halloween. This one is incorrigibly. I can't say the name again. This is a middle grade stories, and I like it. I just didn't keep going because I'm not feeling for a middle grade reading right now, but it's very nice story too. So this one is a continue. This one is Bone Witch. This one I'm reading it on an audio version. They have it in an audio book, like included with the plan, so I don't need to buy them. It's about this witch, and I like it. It's not nothing wow, but to listen while you're doing something, I think is okay. They have two more books on the series, so this one I will continue. Simeon, this is the detective story. They have 70 something stories, I think. I read only the first one. I do have more of him. You don't need to read them in order. You can read them however. But I'm planning to continue with this. At least the ones that I have on my library. At least read those. I will continue with this one. It's a very different story. So we're gonna continue with the Margaret book stories. Then we have Victoria Thompson, Murder on Marble Row. This is another kind of the same cozy mystery detective stories. This is a mystery. They're resolving crimes, and it's always about some murder. I can't say that word either. In a in some city, in some street, in some place, and it's the Gaslight Mysteries. I have few of them, and I will continue. Agatha Christie. Of course, I will continue. I read so far Hercules Period Christmas, Murder on the Orient Express. This one is Comforty Ladies. This one is the same author of the Murder of on the Marbles, I think. It's a new series that she's doing, and I read only one book so far, and that should be in a different order, but we're gonna keep going. So I will continue with these two series. Then from Agatha Christie, I read The Adventures of the Christmas Pudding. I read The Mysteries of Affairs in Styles, I think is the word. I read Period Investigate, is where the first time Hercules Period appear on her series. That's all I read from Christie so far. So we will continue with this for sure. They are more like a cozy mystery series, the last books that I show you. Let's move on with some other series. So Chronicles of Nadia I read. The Magician's Nephew, it was okay. The Horse and the Boy, it was okay. The Lion and the Witch, I like it. The Hunger Games. Okay, one thing on this book, they gave me like a gift in a from work. We were exchanging gifts, and I get the last book of the series. I think it is. I already watched the movie, the first two movies, and it was about to come out the last movie. So I read the book first before I watched the movie. I like it, and it's the first book that I read in English, so it has kind of special place in my heart because of that. I did like the series. I'm planning to read the first books since I know it's in a kind of not in a right order. I like the series, I like the movies, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like the books because I like the last book that I from the series. So that is a continue. I know what is about the story. I read the last one, and I will read the first and the second one in the near future, hopefully. Okay, now this one is a little bit controversial because it's the Lord of the Rings series. I know everybody can think I'm the fan of the fan. I read all the books. No, I didn't. A lot of things that I know about um, the Middle Earth is because of people who post stuff on YouTube and they explain to you some things and they know a lot. And I read the Silmarillion. I read the Hobbit, but I only read one of the books of the Lord of the Rings. And what is keeping me to read, I don't know. Maybe it's because I know the how kind of end the story, so it's not like I need to know what's gonna happen. It's just I need to read the original version. That's for sure. It will happen eventually. I read the first one so far, so I apologize, but I will read them. That's for sure. And I think that's all is going on my series that I'm reading. I DNF a lot. I will keep some. Most of the ones that I'm keeping or planning to continue are like the cozy mystery thrillers that I have, and of course the main series that is the Lord of the Rings, Hunger Games, and Chronicles of Narnia, and now the Fate and the Fallen for me is a kind of main series that I have to read them or finish them. And I think that's it. I hope this thing recorded. If it didn't record, that means I need to remake this video again. Anyways, if you like the video, thumbs up. If you want to know if I post another video, ring the campanita. And thank you for watching. Bye.